Today, I want to talk about perfection. Have you had those moments where you just want to do something, but are stopped because you want to be perfect? I mean, you choose not to start. You're just like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait. So, I'm here to tell you, embrace the journey of trial and error. It is within all of us. Nobody gets things right all the time. We just don't. A lot of times, we need to just start. Start from where you're at. We hesitate to take the first steps to getting things done because we're worried about making mistakes, because of not getting it right, or maybe just looking silly. Why? Why don't we just embrace the fact that we are trying something, that we are learning as we're doing? Let me tell you, it is in those very mistakes that you will find your most profound growth. It is in those situations that you learn more and more about yourself as a creator. We've all been there, staring at a blank canvas, or maybe that blinking cursor on the screen. That empty page can be totally daunting. And there it is. You just don't want to do anything. You're looking at it, wondering, okay, what should it be? Maybe I'll look at a resource. Maybe I'll look online. And then you just get lost. You haven't even started doing it. Time goes by, a minute, an hour. It's gone. So, why are you waiting for the perfect idea to strike? Why not just do it? Look, here's the truth. Perfection is an illusion. None of the greats started knowing what their creation was going to be. They just did it. In today's society, we hear, hey, you should have an aim, you should have a goal, and that's great. But for a lot of people, you need something to start. You don't always have to know exactly where you're going, but you can learn along the way. Right? Stumbling most times, I agree, it happens to me all the time, but you're still making progress. And that is probably the most important thing about actually creating things. If you look at all the creators, especially on YouTube, you will see that a lot of them have learned their way through it. They're not just sitting there and learning and ideating. No, they are actually putting themselves out there, creating and doing. I know myself as a creator, I struggle with this. And you can very easily get caught up in, oh man, this has to be perfect. This has to sound good. This has to look good. But in all that, you're not making any kind of progress. You're not putting yourselves out there. Do it. You got to treat all your creations as experiments. And through the experimentation of creating it, you are learning and creating a masterpiece. Consider this. Every masterpiece in history has layers and layers of revisions, underlining sketches, or hidden errors. Do you know there's a hidden error? No, you don't. But the creator definitely knows that there might be an error, but the person that's looking at it, that's watching it, doesn't necessarily know. There is such a thing, and I like to say this in art, is that it's a happy accident. Especially if you look at the old painting classes of Bob Ross, right? It's a happy accident. And these happy accidents can sometimes be absolutely profound things in your creative work. These aren't the signs of failures, but of evolution of your art form, of your creativity. I believe that it is philosopher Karl Popper that said, the method of learning by trial and error is learning through our mistakes. It's just fundamental. So, I ask you, have you made some mistakes lately and have learned from them? I get it. It's taken me a good amount of time to just face myself and to put myself out there and just create for the sake of creating. You need to just do it. Get it done. Done is better than perfect, as quoted from the COO of Facebook. Right? This doesn't mean we should settle for mediocrity, but rather recognize that our completion allows us to reflect on the work that we've actually created, looking at the feedback and the improvement. That's the only way we get better. We don't just get better by just thinking about it. No, you actually have to finish. You have to finish regardless of whether or not you feel that it is flawless. Now, I'm not saying just don't put crap out there all the time, but what I am saying is you got to start somewhere. You got to just create and just do it. I know the most daunting part of every single project is the beginning. I face this every single time that I create something. We often convince ourselves, hey, I'm not ready. I need a little bit more time. I need more skills. I need more inspiration. You know what? Or better yet, I'll do this when and you fill in the blank. That is the biggest load that we always give ourselves. I don't know why. I do this all the time. Hey, when I have the studio space. Hey, when I have this. When I get the new microphone. When I get this. When I get that. I'll do it. But realistically, if you think about it, right? A minute becomes an hour becomes a day becomes a week becomes a month becomes a year, and the next thing you know, a whole year has gone by and you haven't done a single thing. And then there you are, New Year's Eve hits, you're like, ooh, I'm gonna change. And literally, maybe 2 weeks later, nothing happens. You resort back to your old self. And then the following year, you revisit it all over again, and you're like, man, I didn't get anything done. Wow. Why is that? Look, you just gotta, I know it's hard, but you gotta just start. One of my favorite artists, Vincent van Gogh, right? When he started to create his work, a lot of people, especially in the art community, were like, hey, it's very dark, it's very somber, and the stuff is just not what the time was calling for. And he didn't listen, right? He was like, nope, I'm gonna do my own thing. And look at that. Some of the most beautiful works that we have is because artists did not listen. They don't listen to the crowd. You have to sometimes create your own path so that you could be a creator. And I know I said sometimes. No, you have to create your own path. I'm sorry. Let's be real here. Let's try to sugarcoat it. No, you gotta forge your own path and not listen to any of the naysayers and just be like, look, I'm doing what I want to do, and that is it. Because that is how you truly unlock the creativity that you have hidden inside of you. So I urge you all, pick up a brush, a pen, an instrument, whatever form you want to choose to be a creator, and start working on a project, especially that project that you have been thinking about for so long that you're just saying, hey, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen one day. Don't let one more day pass. Let today be that day that this project gets done. That you just sit there and you do it. You just carve out a few minutes or an hour or whatever amount of time that you need, and you get it done. Because let me tell you, when that project is done and you look back at it, you are going to feel such a sense of accomplishment that you would have never felt if you didn't complete it. It is better to be done with something that might be a little imperfection than to not have anything done at all. It is through that you truly learn. So with that in mind, I hope that you can adopt the attitude of action. Embrace the imperfections that make our art uniquely ours. Share yourself, express yourself. Don't let yourself be limited by the fact that you think you need to be perfect. So get out there, create. I'll see you next time.